Cheers to another episode. Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, the podcast where we talk about seven things and stuff that are important to everybody. It's just science. We don't question it. We don't debate it. Just accept it. Just embrace it into your inner being because it is factuals and it is the number one podcast about stuff and things important to everybody. True story, true life. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a great day, and we're glad to have you for another episode. We got another fun one in store for you. We got some stuff to talk about, but without further ado, we must welcome back our esteemed colleague, the one, the only, Mr. Christian.
Hello, everyone. It feels good to be back for another week. Thanks for listening to me talk.
Oh my God, this guy here looking like freaking sun breathing.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, I am wearing an extremely bright.
It is actually really bright. What does that say? Tom Atkins rule. Oh my God,
Tom
this guy.
Atkins
Look, we're just gonna not acknowledge him.
That shirt is for the real ones, OG horror fans, 80s horror fans. Like, you guys know what's up.
And for those that are just listening, not watching, I'm wearing black, like my soul. Pretty much what I wear most of the time, sadly.
I mean, yeah, most of my shirts are also like.
My wardrobe is so dark. Like, it's bad. Yeah. It's like, what color do I wear today? Black, faded black, or black? Decisions.
Or the occasional gray.
Yeah. Oh, you got to throw gray. The dark charcoal gray. Hey, that goes.
Yeah.
Or yeah, gray works. We can do gray. I do have a color shirt here and there. You know, I have a little spice of life. It's okay. But yeah, welcome back. It's another week. And what we'd like to do to start every episode, we'd like to talk about what we've been watching, reading, listening to, and playing. And I have some stuff to talk to Christian about. That's not only coming from me, but it's also coming from the missus. So you got some stuff coming your way. So I don't know. Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
Please start. By all means.
So my week, I dropped the ball. I was going to watch Secret Invasion. And to be honest, I don't even think I really knew it was coming out yet. But I saw it and I was like, oh, I need to watch this. And I haven't. And I think we're like, what'd you say, 2 episodes in already?
And at the time of this recording, there are 2 episodes.
So we're going to hold off discussing that until. Yeah, I can't talk right there. I got all tongue-tied. Until I've watched it. So I will do my best to do that this week and get caught up. You can blame Baby Sin for that and me not knowing. But other than that, your boy watched the latest dub episode of Demon Slayer. I have to say that. They come out. Dude, I was doing research like a mofo Sunday because I was like, okay, these come out on Sundays, dub. What time can I watch this? It's like a crack fiend. It's like, when do you give me what I want? And I was over here looking up hours and found out it comes out like, I think 3:30 in the afternoon my time. And so I watched it, and then it was done. And I was like, man, I'm so used to binging this. I don't know if I can. I got like 6 more weeks of doing this. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. So I caved, and I just picked up where we were at, and I watched sub to at least like fix me and then like every Sunday I'm going to watch the dub as it gets released to rewatch the episodes. So I'm completely caught up as of right now on Demon Slayer.
All right. Congratulations, by the way.
And I have to say, do you want to know who my favorite is?
Who's your favorite?
Mist is the shit. God, I love Mist.
Yeah.
Mist.
You've been saying Mist.
Mist, I've watched him fight. I've watched him talk. I've seen him do all kinds of stuff. And the character design is honestly pretty simplistic. Like, it's really not a lot to it. Like a black, I don't know what they call that outfit.
Like a gi, almost.
A what?
Like a traditional samurai gi.
Yeah, that with black hair and like a light blue-ish tint, like tips of hair and stuff, and then the eyes, dude. And he goes so hard. Oh, his story was epic. I like the backstory. That was really sick. Wasn't really expecting that, like the whole twin thing. I will say, love is cool. I mean, all Hashira are badass, for sure. Like, there's no disputing that. Love has got to be my least favorite still. My favorite thing about Love is her sword. Her sword is dope as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the rest of it, I'm just like, I'm not as into her. Like, she's just not grabbing me. Like, Mist I was super into. Tanjiro stuff. The Nezuko stuff is really cool. Saw more Muzan. Muzan, there we go. Saw him just straight up as a child decapitate a chick, just without even blinking. So I would have to say, and I've asked the missus this too. At the time of recording, like where we're at right now, granted we have some stuff to watch coming up. I was like, if I had to rate this anime for the first 3 seasons and what I've seen, like being caught up right now, what would I give it? I was like, honestly, I don't know that I could not give it a 10. Wow. Like, if the lowest I would go is a 9.5, but even that, like, I don't. The things that I complained to you about when I started watching it, like, is a little childish in part, like that stuff. That honestly, now it makes more sense, and it's like it just breaks some of the tension because literally they go fighting, and that kind of like just gives you that moment of like, huh, and then it's back into it.
Yeah,
the pacing,
you're
superb.
right. You're absolutely right.
The best pacing. Like after seeing the pacing of this show, watching like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, I'm like,
I will say this: you have been spoiled with pacing in a show because the way that your attention span works when you're watching an anime is a little different from like the way mine is per se. So you would go on to watch another anime that's equally good, if not better. However, this show, the reason why I think you enjoy the pacing so much is because there are equal parts like exploration of the characters and expedition for the story, but also action, right?
Yeah.
And when the expedition is happening and the character moments are happening, they're definitely happening. Like for an example, when you saw the twins' backstory, the twin demons, or the brother sister demon combo, when you saw their backstory, that really slowed down everything that happened because there was so much action, right? But like you got so much action that it was really good to take a breather. So like you were saying, that it is very well paced.
However, the director or whatever, however they're pacing and doing the story, I think it's fantastic. Like I think this season was 11 episodes, and you covered it all. Like by episode 11, I was like, I think we got it. Like we got a long enough fight because you had episodes plural of fighting. Like it's not just like 1 or 2 episodes. Like we fought for. I say we. I wasn't there fighting, but Tanjiro and them fought for a good, easily 6 or 7 episodes. So I mean, you justify Tanjiro's a tough ass dude. The Hashira are badasses, and the demons are legit strong as shit. Like you justify everything, and I'm just like, okay, I have no arguments. And even the misses, who would have said like Attack on Titan or the different ones is her favorite, I'll look at her. I'm like, so where we at on it? And she's like, it's fantastic. Like I think it's up there with her. Like she can't argue. She even was like, put the sub on. Let's watch sub. And I was like, or we can wait every Sunday. And she was like, why would you suggest that then? Don't you dare put that on now. I was like, all right, fine. I'm not going to argue. Also, their intro slaps. Every season, the intro has slapped.
I do. My favorite one is still the first one.
One, so 1 is my favorite. My least favorite is 2 right now. 1 is up there because it's stupid catchy. I really love 3 just because you have like the hammering of the sword, so it's like that industrial sound. Then it kicks into like kind of like some rock metal a little bit. Oh, it's so good, so good. That show though.
So I will say, like, there are videos on everywhere online of the singer singing the song for the first season, and dude, it's beautiful. She's so good. And she gets into it. Like, it's so good. You gotta watch it.
So I want you to know, this show's so good. I told her whenever episode 11 rolled, I said, I will almost bet you money. Because she's really bad about, we'll watch a show, and then she'll go back and rewatch it again. And I usually don't do that right away. I was like, I almost guarantee I'm about to go back to season 1 and start all over. Like, it's that good to me right now. Like, it's... And I haven't seen anybody yet that I've discussed, and I've been discussing this on stream and with different people. Anybody that's watched Demon Slayer has told me it's a top 5 anime for them. Like everyone's saying it's fantastic. Like I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about it yet. So that's good.
I mean, rare does it come around where a show really captures that many people and keeps their interest. Like the last show that I can think of that was like on that level of popularity was My Hero, but a lot of people hopped off the My Hero train for various reasons, right? I like My Hero a lot. I really do. I like the characters, I like the story, I like the action. Like it's a show that I really enjoy. However, it's targeted for people like me because I read superhero comics all the time, all the time. So that show, that manga, rather, like that's made for someone like me who likes superhero stuff, right? Like that's my bread and butter. So I really enjoy it. There are people who don't like it because it's so popular. There's a lot of people who don't like it because it's like childish, whatever you say. But the thing is, people who like Spider-Man, the Avengers in general, Batman, Superman, like all of those comics are like that. Of course, you have darker moments in those comics. Batman, of course, has darker moments, but you don't get those all the time. There are moments of levity. Like that's why Robins in general exist. That's why Superboy, Jonathan Kent exists. That's why Superboy in general started to exist before he went crazy. Like all of those sidekick characters, Kid Flash, all that stuff. That was to lighten the load because comics were getting so dark, and then people liked reading those smaller characters interacting with these older characters because they could put themselves into it. Kids would get into it. Comic sales went up because kids were reading them. People like me, for an example, I learned how to read solely because Batman was a thing. And I wanted to know what Batman was saying while he was punching people in the face, why he was so cool, why I thought he was all of this. So I taught myself to read so that I could read Batman comics, right? So that's why they exist. That's one of the major reasons why they exist. And on top of that, like My Hero, for an example, again, going back to My Hero, like it's pretty light, but it has some really heavy subject matter in it. It gets dark, and I like that. But I'm not watching My Hero or reading My Hero just because it's dark or just because it's light. I'm reading it because it appeals to me on a level, right? Like it reminds me of reading superhero comics when I was a kid, but also it has those moments too as the story evolves. So I think Demon Slayer speaks to you on a level it speaks to you on because it does exactly what you needed animes to do for you when you were younger. Like Dragon Ball, like you and I are around the same age, right? So like Dragon Ball was like one of the first anime that most people got into
Shout
at
out
our age.
Toonami.
And
without Toonami,
exactly.
I don't know when I would have found Dragon Ball, honestly.
Right. So we started watching that, and it was like exactly what we fucking needed at the time. Dudes with powers beating the shit out of each other, right? Like, and that's exactly what we wanted. And then anime, especially shonen anime, which is what you're watching currently, that anime is targeted mostly towards young boys because the stories always take place around the main characters who typically are young men, young women, and their adventures into adulthood that usually revolves fighting or magic powers, going to different worlds. It's isekais are different, but anyway, it appeals to you on that level because it does exactly what you needed it to do when you were a kid that you didn't get. You needed a story that was easy to follow. You needed plenty of action. You needed moments of levity.
Saying
And
I'm
you
dumb?
needed it to be.
I need something easy to follow?
No. No, I'm just saying like that's the kind of stuff. Well, yeah, I'm saying you're dumb. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm kidding. But you needed those things to be what they are now, and you're getting it right now. And the animation
is fantastic.
Superb.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like one of the best. No one can deny.
Who does the animation? That's probably a loaded question.
No, it's
because whoever it is, it really is top notch. Like, it's really good, and to me, it mixes various styles that I see in other animated works, but it makes them like really cool. And there's one shot in particular. Me and the missus are talking about this. It's in the intro every season, and I think it's such a cool animated shot. And it's like a low camera angle going through the grass behind Nezuko, and her hair's like flowing, and it kind of like pans like from right to left. And like kind of slowly goes upward. I just think that's such a cool shot, the way it looks, and it's night, all the stuff, grass flowing in the wind.
It's I think it's called Ufotable Ink or Ufa. I think it's Ufotable Ink.
Okay.
Or Incorporated.
I think
the
I see
only
that at the end of the thing.
Yeah, the only thing that they've done that I know of at all is Fate Zero, and I didn't watch all of Fate Zero, but they hadn't done an anime that I really really liked that I can remember anyway. So I thought that was really cool. But
I'm really curious how big Demon Slayer is in Japan.
It's pretty big. Like
is it?
I will say, like for mangas, for as far as mangas go, Demon Slayer was the only manga. I think Demon Slayer was the only manga that did better than One Piece. One Piece is king. One Piece is king. It's like
it was One Piece. What they had me look up last night on stream that was like 1,000+ episodes. They're like, you should watch One Piece, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's
like that's way too many.
Absolutely, it's a lot. It's okay. So really quick, and then I'll be done with that. The people who like One Piece love One Piece, and they'll defend it to the day they die. They'll tell you to get over yourself, to watch the episode. It's worth it 100%. And then the people who don't want to do that just literally don't. I like One Piece. I'm not caught up. It is a lot to watch. The story is really good though. It's a masterpiece. I will say that. If you give it the chance, it is a masterpiece. However, I would never tell anybody, forget all your inhibitions, watch One Piece, because it is a lot. And a lot of people who watch One Piece have been watching One Piece or reading One Piece for years. You know what I mean? So like
at this point.
Yeah. And like for me, like I'm a huge I don't know if you can see that tattoo on me, but like I'm a huge Berserk fan. Berserk has been going on for years. The writer and artist of Berserk unfortunately passed away recently, and that story's still ongoing kind of, but like I've been reading that story for years, and I don't know if it'll ever actually end, but it's also a masterpiece, and it's one of my absolute favorite mangas and stories just in general of all time. That's why it's tatted on me. But yeah, man, it's fantastic. But I understand what you're saying though. As far as the popularity goes, though, I think Demon Slayer is like number 2.
That's crazy.
I think Demon Slayer is number 2 in popularity. And
is Dragon Ball still really popular over there? I mean, I would imagine so. It's kind of like
it's still popular, but it's not like in the top anymore.
Yeah. Okay. One other thing while we were talking about things that I kind of complained about, the 2 sidekicks that aren't in the last season really, the Boarhead and Mr. I Need a Girlfriend.
Nosuke and Zenitsu.
Yep. So I was like, they're kind of they grow on you. Like, it's crazy. Christian's words have echoed the entire time watching this. He was like, every Hashira is badass. Like, even when you see him, you're like, I don't know. But then you watch a fight, you're like, every Hashira is badass. Like, they're Hashira for a reason. Like, you definitely see, without a doubt, they're legit. And they're tough as, dude, I don't even understand how they're so tough. Honestly, it's crazy. Same with Tanjiro. Then you're like, every character in Tanjiro's party will have their moment that they'll shine, they'll prove, like kind of their worth. And they really have. And every time they have that moment, you're like, okay, like, yeah, I can deal with you. You, like, dude that's always whining when he's asleep, that dude is such a badass. Like, he was fighting, I was like, God dang, this, just be like this all the time. You're legit. But no, it's so good. I gotta say though, Mist, I don't think flinched in pain once. This dude, I don't even know. I was so impressed with him. I can't wait to see the other ones. And I asked Christian before I get off Demon Slayer how they do a power ranking, because there has to be, in my mind at least from the demon side, you have 1, 2, 3. You know, it goes in essentially like, who's the strongest of the demons up to Muzan? Who's like the Dracula, essentially. Like, he's the one that started it, and he's the one that's been creating them. So he's the most powerful, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure, in my head, the Hashira have to have almost a pecking order. So I asked Christian, because the way it kind of was impressed on me was Rengoku Flame kind of seemed, since he was the Boy Scout, I feel like they all looked up to him, and he was kind of like the leader, like the number 1. but I didn't know if he was necessarily the strongest. And I don't know. You sent me a list. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if you remember what you sent me.
Rengoku's like number 5, I want to say.
Okay, you said the strongest one is Stone. I don't know if this is you personally speaking or if you found who is the actual strongest in the Hashira. You went Stone, Wind, then Mist.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 is Water. Mm-hmm. Who I'm waiting to see him actually lay into somebody. Like, I haven't seen him even so much as break a sweat. He's barely had to get his sword out.
Like, one of my favorite Hashiras is one of the weakest ones from the list. So here's the thing.
So it goes off of the main elements, right? Like, the main elements I would think would be stronger.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Before Demon Slayer was this popular and I was reading it, so this is coming from an old ranking list when I was reading it before it had more than one season, right? So when I was reading Demon Slayer, season 1 wasn't even done yet. So this is an old ranking list. So what I remember from that list was Guillaume. He's the Stone Hashira, was number 1.
I call him Crybaby because every time I've seen him, this dude's been balling like a baby.
Right. There's what's his name? Saname or Sanami? Sanami, I think is his name, is the wind one.
That's dude's brother 2. Too.
Yeah, Gyu, which is the guy you saw in the first episode that tried to kill Nezuko and took Tanjiro and all that stuff. He's Water. He was number 3. Mist was 4. The snake dude, the serpent guy. I've been calling him Orochimaru, to be honest. But the serpent Hashira, he was 5. And you had Love, and Rengoku was 7.
God.
And then you had the insect Hashira. I do not remember her name. I think
I know who you're talking about, though.
Shinobu, or I don't remember her name. I really don't. And then Sound Hashira, which is one of my personal favorites. He was number 9. And then you had the Flower Hashira. But I think she is the former. I don't want to like ruin the story. So then you had Flower was last. What's his name? Rengoku's dad used to be a Flame Hashira. And then the guy that trained Tanjiro that wears the Oni mask or whatever, he also used to be the Water Hashira.
That's how he learned water breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've noticed, do any other ones, and if this is a spoiler, just say I'm not going to answer this. But in this season, and in every season, Tanjiro has took elements from others. I've never seen Mist or Flame or anybody do that. Like, he started with water breathing, and then he went to sun breathing, like the flame dance or whatever. This last one, his leg was messed up, so he remembered something the Thunder one told him, and he literally started using like a thunder technique to dash at somebody. So he's been using different Hashira stuff, and I'm like, how come he's the only one that's doing that? What's so special? Which he's the main character, and I mean, obviously, but is that going to spoil anything? And the reason he keeps pulling random stuff?
Can't get into it.
Okay, that's fair. No, that's fair. I've just noticed him like every season he's learning another trick from another element, and it's like this dude's pulling all kinds of stuff out of his ass.
I will say this, and I think this is why I was fucking up earlier when we spoke off of the podcast, and I was telling you I think Rengoku's like number 3. I remember now what I was looking at, what I was thinking about when I did that. I was talking about just their special moves. As far as special moves go, Rengoku has the flame breathing 9th form that's called Rengoku. That's like one of the strongest moves that we see in the manga, and then I guess now in the show. That was a really, really strong move. So there's that. And it's not named after him. I'm pretty sure his dad made that move up.
So I am confused about Win's brother still.
I think.
Like, I'm hoping the dub will clarify it a little more, or maybe I just missed it. But dude's brother, he mentioned something about eating demon gives him the powers. but he said it makes my regeneration better. So I don't understand. Does he have regenerative powers to start with? Is there some technique he's doing? And if he's eating demon, why doesn't everybody just eat demon and get demon strength to... Or is this something that's going to be explained later?
Do what he does?
Do what?
What you're saying? You're asking like it's
like they semi-explained it. He was like, he takes a bite of him. He's like, I need to get stronger, so I'm eating the piece of this demon to amplify everything. But he was already demon form. He's been regenerating this whole time. He was regenerating not as a demon earlier. So I'm kind of confused what his deal is a little bit.
Well, everybody has their own thing that they do, and that's one of his things, and I don't want to get into that.
Kind of like Tondro's smell. Is that what you're saying? Like their own almost like super ability or sense or something?
Everybody has a thing about, like a thing about them. That
something special.
So I don't really want to. Yeah.
So he can regenerate?
Typically, everybody does. So he's Wolverine. I mean, I also don't remember all of it either, because remember, I read this stuff. Demon Slayer has been done with the manga for a while. So I read this shit like 3 years ago, and I don't remember all of it. And then
I actually kind of wouldn't mind
reading
the manga. I'm not going to lie.
Art is different. It's not as crispy and clean and stuff, I will say. And that
for me, it'll be weird going right to left instead of left to right reading. That's going to throw me off.
It doesn't bother me, but I understand.
But, okay, we've spent a lot of time on Demon Slayer, so I will move along because we haven't even got to what you've been into. I've also been playing more Diablo. That game is fantastic. But there's something else we have to talk about. Because Christian had a suggestion. Oh, before I get into that, two things that were brought up last night during the stream, because we were on a full-on anime discussion then. This has been my couple weeks. It's been a downward descent into anime land, literally. First thing was, I believe last week you said your favorite anime show ever was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Correct?
That's right.
Your sentiments have been echoed by TJ, by multiple people that said Demon Slayer is your favorite until you watch that. And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, trust us. The story and everything, it's that good. Like, I don't know what it is about that specific Full Metal Alchemist, because I know there's other ones, because it's been around a while. But I don't know what it is about Brotherhood, but for some reason, all of you are like in unison saying that show is ridiculously good.
I mean, I'll say this. Full Metal Alchemist is the only anime that I remember watching where I cried multiple times.
Okay.
And that's not just to say, oh man, this is so sad. And it gets sad for sure, but like
it tugs them heartstrings.
It does. When I got to the end, I felt good. I just felt good. It's one of those. Like, it's when I got to the end, the last episode of Brotherhood, I was just like, yeah. Because everything, I don't even want to get into it because I'll talk about that for like 20 minutes and I don't want to like impede you. I'll just say this. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is my favorite for a, and until you watch it, you'll be able to understand that reason.
It's on the list. It's on the list of ones I'm going to watch. When I finish Chainsaw Man, I'm going to Parasite next. Like, I've already got my mind set on what I'm doing next. Because I've heard several people have said Parasite's really good. Like, it's not just you.
You're going to love Parasite, dude, because it's horror. Like, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Even H, shout out to H, who's not a horror fan. He said Parasite's really good. And I was like, you're not a horror fan, so for you to say that even makes me even more interested. Like, if other horror fans just threw it out there, I'd be like, okay, we're all in this. It's horror stuff, so of course it's gonna be up my alley. But for someone not a horror fan,
and you're gonna like the intro song too, because it
slaps,
bro. Dog. Oh, I can't wait for you to hear that shit.
I should be able to have it. I should be going by next week or this coming week. I should be into it.
Yeah, because you've been watching Chainsaw Man, right?
We're getting to that.
Okay.
The other thing that was brought up before I forget. Before I forget. Shout out to On the Inside. He said you should have a section on the podcast where Sin describes anime. And I was like, he said Christian's not allowed to talk. And I was like, no, that is an awful idea. And he was like, we can't let Christian jump in and help and like clean it up. this lets you go. And I was like, I'm an idiot on anime. So if you get this novice person sitting here trying to explain to you what in the hell is going on an episode of anime, he's like, we'll give you episodes and then you just explain. I was like, God, you're going to make me sound like a complete moron. He's like, Christian has to be quiet the whole time.
On the inside, if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you.
Absolutely, we'll talk about it, maybe. God, y'all will give me some weird stuff that I'll have to explain.
We're putting that on the docket. That is happening. On the inside, we got you. That's happening.
Christian, you're just going to sit there and laugh your ass off the whole time when I try to explain what in the shit's happened. All right, so that was what I had to bring up. Now, Christian told me to watch Chainsaw Man. I am riding up here on Demon Slayer. I'm like, all right, here we go. We started Chainsaw Man. I'm like 10 minutes into this damn show, and I'm like, what in the shit does Christian have me watching right now? This dude, first off, he's got freaking fang teeth, like sharp teeth, and I can't stop looking at him. The dude's sole objective. First thing, he's like, I got to get out of debt. He's poorer than shit. Like, this dude... just life sucks. Like, we're lucky to eat a piece of bread.
His name is Dingy, bro.
Yeah.
His name is Dingy.
So the missus, it starts off and she's just like, Christian, what is this? I will say, we're about 7 or 8 episodes in. It's the point now where she's like, I don't care to watch it. But when it's on, she's watching it and she's laughing because she's like, what the shit? This dude, okay, his objective was to get out of debt. So if you haven't seen Chainsaw Man, I'm going to kind of give spoilers where we are. Essentially, dude's a devil hunter, and he goes on a mission, and he gets killed. He gets chopped up. And he has a little devil pet that he's adopted that's like this chainsaw dog thing. I don't even know. And the thing becomes his heart and rebuilds him so he can see his dreams. This dude's dream is to see titties. He wants to get to second base. That is his sole purpose in this show. And he meets this devil that's his partner, and she's like, I got meowsers. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with this? And she's like, it needs to be safe from the bat devil. And he's like, you let me cop a feel, I'll save your kitty. He saves the kitty, and she's like, you get 3 squeezes. And I'm like, what? Like, Christian, what? This boobies and devils. That's what we got going on. And a lot of blood. There is a lot of blood.
I told you.
This show reminds me of something like if Dragon Ball Z was on after people would get off the school bus and stuff, like early afternoon, like after school's done. This show's on at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those, like, dog. Almost midnight like, run. I don't want to say Adult Swim, but it's like one of those, like.
It'd be on the midnight run for sure.
Christian, what do you have me watching?
Listen.
It is very bloody, and I'm going to get through it, and I don't hate it by any means, but it's definitely not where Demon Slayer is for me. Like, it is.
Let me tell you this.
It's a big step down.
Let me tell you this.
But I will say, it's made me laugh a bunch of times just because I'm like, this dude doesn't care about, like, everybody's like, I want to get revenge because they killed my family. Or this person's like, well, I want to save the world. Blah. And then he's like, I want to touch some boobies. I'm like, what the what?
Let me tell you.
Oh, Christian was going to tell me something. He froze. He froze in the Matrix. So yeah, Chainsaw Man. There's like, I want to say 12 episodes. And I'm almost there. We're almost there. We're going to be done. I'll definitely be done with it by next episode. And I hopefully will have started Parasite by next episode. That's the game plan. And I'm sure you all are really enjoying hearing about Demon Slayer. And I'll be watching the dub stuff. And I'll probably still be singing the praises of it. Who knows? I may even have started reading the manga. I don't know. That rabbit hole is yeah, we're going down it. But Parasite is up next. I have very high hopes for Parasite based on what I've heard. Chainsaw Man, the carnage and the action and the blood is definitely what I expected from a show named Chainsaw Man. The dude's mentality is not what I expected. I was not expecting some dude to be like, I just want to see and touch some boobies. And I was like, oh, okay. And eat food. He likes food. But also, watching anime makes me want, like, Japanese food so bad. I swear, I get, like, the urge to have Japanese food every time I watch any kind of anime. And here comes Christian back.
All right. So my entire internet, my phone, just decided to die, but it's back. So I'm just gonna jump right back into it because I know we're running low on time. You're not gonna be able to get there now because you're not reading the manga. You're watching it, right? You're watching the anime, and the anime is slower. When you get to the end of the main story, everything will make sense. You will be in your feelings, and you will go back and love all the moments you're talking about right now.
Like I said, it's not bad. It's honestly, it's what I expected from a show called Chainsaw Man. It's very gory. It's very violent. He has chainsaws and he messes up devils. Totally expected that. What I didn't expect was the mentality of him just to be so tunnel vision on boobies. I'm just like, there is way more in the world than some boobies.
So you have to think about it from Denji's point of view, right? Denji literally doesn't know anything. He grew up on the streets, and he's stuck in the mindset that most.
You're saying there's not boobies on the streets?
No, like you saw what his life was. He literally ate a cigarette for money just so that he could buy a piece of bread, not a loaf, a piece of bread.
Yeah, how is $100 buy a piece of bread?
It's not $100. It's the money. The currency is different in Japan. Oh, okay. So so it's not $100. It's like it was like 50 cents.
He's not very good with his money if he bought one piece of bread with $100. No,
he made like 50 cents, bro. Like, trust me, he was making shit money. That's why the jobs that he was doing were jobs that he should have been getting paid for, but he wasn't. But anyway, all that to say, he hasn't been able to develop his mind, any aspirations, nothing. He's been able to develop nothing. So when you were like 14, titties were like the top priority for you when you were like 14. Like, nothing meant more than titties, like, at that time. And that's how it goes for young.
So is he like 14?
If you like girls, anyway. I think he's 15.
So he's 16, young. One of them. He's still a very young, like, almost a young adult.
Yeah. And I forgot how old he is, and I don't want to like put that out there. I know I was kind of guessing a second ago, but I actually forgot because the age didn't matter to me after I started reading.
Also, the intro song, at first I was like, this song is chaotic, which actually goes very well with the show, the chaos of the show. But then after a while, it kind of does get stuck in your head. Dun, 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 dun.
But what I'll say is, like, Denji, his goals are super set. Like, he's just like, all right. But we'll say this.
What was it? He was fighting one. He was like, let's have a dream battle. I want titties. I was like, what? This dude, what? Like, this is the worst dream battle ever.
It's the thing. But that's the other thing, too. Because he has that very childish mentality, you've been seeing it in these episodes. One day he could be like, all right, the thing I want to do the most is eat breakfast. I just want a big breakfast.
And I said this while you were gone. Every time I watch anime and I see their food, I want Japanese food so bad. Like, I have to almost get some kind of Japanese food because I'm just like, God, that looks amazing. Like, everything looks delicious.
It does. So, I'll say this, like, this thing is like, I really want to eat breakfast. And then he eats breakfast and he's like, wow, that was the dream that I had. I wanted to do nothing other than eat breakfast food. But now that I've eaten breakfast food, like, what's next? I don't know. Why am I even living? Oh, titties. Okay. So titties, that's my number one thing. And then he touches titties and it's just like, well, that wasn't as satisfying as I thought it was.
I just like his face. I guess I should live for something else. The devil lets him touch, I guess, his first.
You mean Power, right? You're talking about Power.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
The one with the horns?
On her head? Yeah. Her name's Power.
Okay, I didn't know her name.
Yeah, Power is, I love Power. She's really fucking annoying, but I love Power. And you will come to love her too. Later though, like you don't really get into Power too much until later. And I don't want to ruin the story, but this story gets fucking dark and sad and crazy. And oh God, man. God, geez. I don't want to get into the story because I want you to experience it.
But kind of what you're saying about
the level
like,
that I experienced.
He would get a goal and then it's on the next. Like, he was like all about the boobs, like touching some boobies. And she's like, get your first squeeze. And he does, and like the bra pad falls out, and he's just like this dumbfounded shock look, like, what just happened? And she's like, oh, it's to make him look bigger and stuff. And he's like, it's almost like he's so deflated, but he's so happy. I'm like, this dude's like, Oh.
But it's like he's happy because he did it. He's deflated because it didn't feel good for him.
Yeah.
It wasn't what he wanted. And also, Power doesn't have any titties. So he's just like, so this is why it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I want to touch
he gets,
Maki's
he gets to
titties.
squeeze, I'm guessing, his bosses.
Makima, yeah.
I don't know. This show is wild. This is just...
Look, I told you, I said maybe you should watch Parasite first, but then
Parasite, if Parasite disappoints me, Christian, I'm cutting you off.
It's not going to disappoint you. I have full confidence.
Texas Chainsaw Man did not disappoint me. It's just I was not expecting that mentality. Like that threw me like the biggest curveball because I was like, wait, what? Like what? What is?
Especially coming off of Demon Slayer, where you have like super humble, super honorable Tanjiro that would never do anything wrong, and then you got fucking Denji who doesn't know any better, he's only met shitty people. He doesn't know any better.
But I think I'm
know.
episode 7 or 8, so I'll have that done in the next couple of days, hopefully.
It's only like 10 or 12.
Yeah,
right?
it's not many. I'm over halfway for sure. But that's what I've been watching. I've took up like the whole time again on Anime Talk. So we're going to let Christian get into what he's been into this past week, and we're going to get off of anime and get out of the rabbit hole.
I'm actually like out of time. I'm going to go over everything pretty quick. What I've been reading, watching, like what news I have. I'm going to just put it all into one and we're just going to go for it. It's going to do it. And I'm sure you'll have comments and stuff, but I'm going to try to rapid fire this, starting with first thing.
Christian's
Kraven
rapid fire.
The Kraven the Hunter trailer dropped recently, and I watched it. I have no idea what it was, but I watched the Kraven the Hunter trailer. I watched the Red Band trailer. I have a couple of thoughts. I'll do them really quick. Aaron Taylor Johnson, the guy who's playing Kraven, I think that he looks good in the role. I think that he's a good actor. I like it. That's not Kraven. If you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're a Kraven the Hunter fan, you'll know that it's not the character, right? It's just not. Sony's doing what Sony always does, and it feels weird. Okay. And they throw spiders in that trailer. Like I don't know if you've seen the trailer I've seen. But they throw spiders in there. Like there's no need for that because that doesn't happen until you get to one of the most popular Kraven stories, which is The Last Hunt. So that's in that story. So they're like fusing a couple of stories together and changing a bunch of shit around. They're making Kraven a straight up anti-hero, which also isn't his character. They did the same thing with Venom. They tried to do the same thing with Morbius. Like it doesn't work. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, the movie just has enough buzz and popularity to where it seems okay. The most egregious thing, aside from them changing the way his powers and abilities work, like I don't like lion's blood fell into his eye or something. That was weird. Or his body, and now he has all these abilities. Like that's not Kraven. Kraven's just a fucking badass by himself.
Who would you have cast for Kraven? Just out of curiosity, because when I saw him, I was like, that's not. Whenever I would think Kraven in my head for like a movie, that's not what I would think. But I do actually genuinely really like the actor.
I like the actor too. If I were going to do a Kraven movie and it was going to be actual Kraven from the comic books, I would have cast. My first choice would have been Jason Momoa. That would have been my first choice.
Okay, that seems more because Kraven to me is a big dude, is he not?
He's a pretty big dude.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that makes more sense.
My first choice would have been Jason Momoa. I know a lot. Jason Momoa wants. I know people that like Jason Momoa want him to be all of these crazy wild characters, and I'm on that list. Like I'm not gonna lie. But if you were going to do Kraven the right way, that meets Spider-Man, that does cool shit, that would have been my first choice. I would have went him first. And then if he said no, then I would have went to my other choices. Also in that trailer, you see a glimpse of the Rhino, and he has this serum that turns him into this Rhino beast thingy that we haven't fully seen yet. I don't like that because Rhino isn't supposed to be this mutated thing. He's supposed to be a guy that gets into the Rhino suit, and he can't get out of it. And the only reason why Spider-Man beat the Rhino the first time they met is because Rhino can't really sweat in that suit because he's stuck in it. So he overheats, and Spider-Man makes him overheat himself, and he passes out or whatever. So, like, that's different. So me being a comic book fan of these characters, I'm not really feeling what they're doing, and I know they're trying to rush again to do the Sinister Six, and they should just stop doing that. Like that, I thought that was dead, but it's not. They're still doing it. It's a dumb idea. It's not gonna work. People don't like that shit. You saw what happened with Morbius. Like people, when Venom came out, the reason why Venom did well is because they at least kind of tried on Venom, and we had the hope that he would meet Spider-Man, right? So there was that, the hope that he would go into that world, and people really liked Tom Hardy, and he did really well with the voice of Venom and all the other shit they were doing in the movie. And Venom is just that fucking popular, so sure, it did well. When the second Venom movie came out, that hype was dead, and people went to see that movie kind of, but it didn't do that well.
I'm glad you brought up Venom. Because I meant to write this down and I completely forgot. Did you see the news over the week?
I did see that, which was going to be the next topic.
You're touching this topic. Okay, I'll leave it alone then. We'll let you.
You're good. So, got you on that. So, you see all those things happening in these Sony. Just like the only reason why we pay attention is because we have the hope, right? Not the promise. Hope that Spider-Man will somehow be integrated into these movies and blah blah blah. Whether that's Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or Tom Holland Spider-Man, like some Spider-Man we want to see in these movies, but it's not happening. They want to do Sinister Six. They want to make all these spin-off movies because they're trying to bite off the hype of Marvel
supposed to be in Venom 3, or is that just like a rumor?
Who?
I think I saw something somewhere that said Garfield is going to be in Venom 3.
I'm not believing any of the rumors right now because of the writer's strikes. We literally can't.
I don't remember the source either, so it could be complete fan like BS. So take that with a grain of salt.
Like the story that I heard for Venom 3, we'll talk about here in a second. Anyway, saw the Kraven trailer. It looks, he looks good as Kraven. The action in the movie, the bloodiness, it being rated R is cool, but it's not Kraven the Hunter. And I don't think it's going to do well. Going into Venom, like I saw that was filming. I saw that Tom Hardy is filming Venom 3
that's not
currently.
What the news I was talking about.
Well, maybe I'll get into it in a second. I saw that there was a lead kind of a plot for the film. Is that what you're talking about?
Nope.
Okay, so tell me your news then. Maybe we're on different.
There was speculation. You were speculating the Spider-Man game, who Venom would be, and there was an orchestra thing recently. I don't remember what it was called, but during it they played video game like images, and they played the Spider-Man one, and it pretty much showed who Venom is going to be. And it's
I didn't see that.
Norman Osborn, I believe.
Oh, that was one of my theories last week.
Unless that was all fan made, but I don't know how, because the footage was literally of a freaking orchestra with a screen in the middle, and it was showing essentially that. So I'm guessing that's our Venom for the new Spider-Man film. Or not film, sorry, game. Excuse me.
Okay.
There we go. That's what I saw.
There we are.
There's my news.
Okay.
Venom 3. What's the plot?
So the leaked plot that I heard for Venom 3, I hope it's not true, but the plot is Venom goes to meet Peter Parker. I forget how this happens because it was so ridiculous. Something happens. Venom goes to meet Peter Parker, but because of the universe they're in, Peter Parker is like a child, and Venom has to protect. Not Venom, but like Eddie Brock decides to protect this kid for some reason, and they go on some kind of like buddy cop adventure, like him and Peter Parker as a kid go on some kind of adventure or whatever. That's what I heard for the plot of the story. I really hope that's not true. I hope it's just complete and utter total bullshit. But I hope
that's false, because that sounds awful.
Sounds terrible. But I also hope it's not just another symbiote, because that means that we got a symbiote in every single Venom film, which means that the writers aren't trying to write anything else, and they don't have Spider-Man, so like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, I love the symbiotes, but symbiotes work because you only see them every now and then. They have their stories and they're out. They're out for a long time. Then they come back and have their stories and they're gone for a long time. So we'll see. I think the only thing they could do with this story is to have like Toxin show up, or I think the name is Toxin. So in the last movie, you see the guy who gets like the kind of parasite-y, symbiote kind of thing on his face, and that's because that should be the offspring of Carnage, and I believe that's Toxin. And what happens with that is Carnage in the comics wants to kill Toxin, doesn't want to have this offspring because it has the potential to be stronger than him, and the father of Toxin is essentially Venom, because it's like a combination of them both, right? So it's kind of a crazy story. They team up to fight Toxin. Toxin's a badass, beats both of them, and then Spider-Man comes in to help. Then Spider-Man realizes that Toxin isn't even evil, and that Venom and Carnage are just assholes, and like it's a whole thing in the comics. But we'll see. But moving on, the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer also dropped, and I watched that. I believe you got to see that as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I really enjoyed that trailer. Honestly, I hope that they don't jump the gun too much and give us too much more. They showed a lot in that trailer. We saw Springtrap, we saw Freddy, we saw Bonnie, we saw some dead children, hinting to the plot of what's really going on in those games and what's in those animatronics and all that stuff. We saw William Afton, which is awesome, but his name wasn't that on the little placard that's on his desk. It was something else. So I thought that was really cool. Matthew Lillard looks really good in the role. The kid from PETA, the guy from Hunger Games, looks good in the role. He doesn't have a daughter in the game, but he does in the and they want one of the animatronics in the movie, and that's kind of different. And I know that the leaked trailer for this, got leaked weeks ago, and the animatronics had red eyes, and nobody liked that shit, myself included, because in the game they don't have red eyes and just look fucking weird and fake and stupid. And they changed that. Just like they changed stuff for like Sonic and all that. They changed the eyes, so now they look more yellow instead of red, straight up red. So it looks way better. The trailer looked good. I honestly hope that they don't show us more. I want to just coast on that trailer. I'm sure we'll get another trailer later on.
When's it released?
As we get closer to like October. I believe in October.
So October is Kraven and Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah, but I don't think it's October this year. I think it's October next.
Which one?
Year?
Craven's next year?
No, I'm talking about Five Nights. Maybe I'm wrong, and it straight up is this October. It's coming out October 27th. So they're going to have to release another trailer really soon, because October is like, what, 3 months away? 4 months away? 3 months away? So
means it's coming up. Season's up, getting closer.
It's upon us. So
September rolls around, spooky season starts. I don't care. We get 2 months.
But I feel that. So I watched that, and then aside from that trailer and me really enjoying it, I over the weekend didn't get to participate in, but I did get to watch a lot of live streaming and whatnot for the Mortal Kombat 1 stress test. I don't know if you got to watch any of that, or if you got any videos from that or whatever. So I wanted to ask you before I jumped into it, like, what did you think of the stress test?
I didn't get to watch a lot of it just because I was busy. I saw a little bit. I saw someone say that they thought the combat was slow or felt slower. What I've seen looked faster, so I don't really know. I guess it may just be different when you're actually playing it. I'm not sure. But I didn't see much, so I don't have much to add on it. I do know that a few minutes ago, NetherRealm just tweeted that their first combat cast will kick off July 6th, Thursday. July 6th at, looks like noon Central Time. And it will be discussion of cameos, full gameplay breakdown of Scorpion and Johnny Cage, and more. So we get our first combat cast, and I will be 110% watching that, because I love those, and I need to know more.
I feel that.
All right, so what did you think about the stress test? Let's hear it.
So from what I watched of it, I did like it, but I didn't like it as much as I liked Mortal Kombat 11. And I think mostly that comes from the changes in the combat, which aren't bad. They're not bad, don't get me wrong. But like, there are some changes that happened in this that just feel kind of weird. And a lot of that is the cameo system, like I said. My biggest problem still is the cameo system. I think the graphics look pretty good. You get during the stress test, you got more so of what they look like. Like, the jump in graphics isn't nearly as crispy and as big as they have been, because this Mortal Kombat is coming out so soon after the last one. So like, the game, yeah, it does look better, but it's not like the game. You go back to Mortal Kombat 11 and it still looks good. But like, for an example, if you were to go back and play Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9, after playing 11, those games look like shit now, because it's just so much better in 11. But going to Mortal Kombat 1, the graphics do look better, but Mortal Kombat 11 still looks really fucking good. It still looks really good. So that just goes to show like how much time they put into 11 as opposed to 1. I'm not saying that they put less time or more time. I'm just saying
this is
because
more
the
time
gap
has been put in this game than any Mortal Kombat game. was what I think Ed Boon said.
That may be seen. That may be seen. We didn't get a lot of characters, so you could only pick 3 characters and then 2 cameos, I think, or 3 cameos.
4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years from the last Mortal Kombat, right?
I guess it has been, but we usually get something in the middle
because it wasn't COVID year that it come out.
It was 2019. It was 2019.
God, I can't believe it's been 4 years though. That's doesn't seem right.
Usually we get like a Injustice, so we've been waiting. We've been getting that time, but with the stress test, the game does look good. The only thing that I really have a complaint on are the cameos. I don't like that you have to use them in certain combos, and then there's also some shit that happens where like for an example, Sonya. Like if you use Sonya the right way for her cameo, like you get like an infinite combo. Like it just doesn't end. You could string a combo, add Sonya in. Once she's done, the character pops up, and then you could do another combo. And then by the time you're done with that combo, Sonya's cameo is ready to come back out again, and you can just keep doing that, beat the dog shit out of somebody. So it got insane. I'm sure they're gonna fix that because that's what the stress test is for. But like, there were a couple of bugs in it. Like as far as people like being online and stuff, the online rooms be fucking stable and sturdy. Even if you have like not so good internet, you will get that weird ping. I'm sure. Like you'll get that if the internet's not good where you are. So like we're probably screwed because we always have internet problems. But typically, if you're a gamer, you play games online all the time, you're gonna be good. You're not gonna have any breaks in that. You just got to worry about people spamming the same move on you and then using those infinite combos if they don't get excuse me, if they don't get changed after the day 1 patch. I'm sure we're gonna get. But like I said, I watched the stress test. It seemed cool. I really want to see other characters and how they move, but I know that they're saving that. Liu Kang is really fun to use. Also, he has a couple of moves that just do hella damage. It's insane. I saw people playing with Katana. She seemed to be the fastest character of all the ones you could use. And then the other character you could play as was Kenshi, I believe. And he looked really fun too. I think that if I were playing the stress test, my favorite character probably would have been Kenshi. Other than him, Liu Kang, and that's just because he seemed like the easiest. Liu Kang seemed like the easiest character to pick up and learn. Katana seemed like a really balanced character to learn, but also really fast. So if you wanted to get a match done quickly, you would play with her. And then if you wanted to just combo somebody and beat them down because you were a dominant person, then Kenshi seems like that would have been the character for you. But enough with the stress test. The last thing I wanted to talk about that I've, as far as all the stuff I've been doing this week and reading and all that stuff, I wanted to talk about a comic book again. It's been a little bit since I talked about a comic, so I want to talk about a comic. And that comic is Batman, the Brave and the Bold, issue number 2. Now, in that comic, you have a couple of stories. You have The Winning Card, part 2. You have Down with the Kings, part 2. You have Order of the Black Lamp, part 2. And then you also have All Things Considered, and then Scars. There's a bunch of back issue not back issues, but like there's a bunch of stories that are backup stories in this comic itself. But I only wanted to talk about the main story of Batman Brave and the Bold 2. And it's essentially when Batman meets Joker for the first, like a retelling almost. I don't necessarily like to read retellings so much. It's not really my jam. But every now and then they're done right. Like Batman The Last Knight, that was a retelling of Batman's backstory, like his past, like how he got trained. I loved that story. I really ate it up. I really liked it. But in this, Batman Brave and the Bold issue number 2, I really wanted to talk about it because it resonated with me and I really liked it after reading it. And after it was over, I was like, damn, it was pretty fucking good. But in a nutshell, without talking about it forever, because I know we're stressed right now on time, Batman meets Joker the first time, a battle, and the Joker wins. And it's glorious. I really liked it. It was a nice change of pace. The art was a little more anime than I would like it to be on a personal note, but I really loved it. I really liked it. I'm not talking about the backup stories, just the main story. I really enjoyed it. Nobody knows how to how to handle Joker because he's a wild card like that. They go back to that in this story. Nobody knows. Jim Gordon doesn't understand him. He doesn't know what to do. They set a trap for the Joker where they're shooting him and whatnot, and he's still running after people, and Batman shows up and has him thrown out of a window. Like, all kinds of shit happens to Joker in this, and he doesn't work like other criminals. So Batman says at one point, you're cowardly and superstitious, whatever. That his like little catchphrase from forever ago that we just harping back to. But like, it doesn't fucking apply to Joker because he's not a coward. He's not superstitious. He's just fucking insane. So Batman doesn't know how to deal with him. When Batman thinks that he's won because he handles the Joker like he would handle any other criminal, the Joker does some crazy shit that Batman doesn't expect. And then Batman gets his ass kicked by Joker. Joker literally kicks the shit out of Batman in this comic. He kicks him in the face like almost to death. He just stomps Batman in this issue. And I was just reading it like, what do I do? Like, it was crazy. So seeing a story where the Joker gets to be the Joker, and not the Joker that people talk about in the movies and shit, but just like comic book crazy ass unpredictable Joker, seeing him get to be that character again felt really good and refreshing as an avid comic book reader, as a huge fan of both of those characters. So if you want to read something that feels a little old but also a little fresh, I would recommend Batman Brave and the Bold issue 1 and 2. There's only 2 issues of that. This is the 2023 run. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. The cover that I think the main cover you'll see is the Joker like holding up a Batman chess piece over a chessboard that has like Robin or multiple Robins. It has Catwoman on it that they're knocked over because he's winning the chess game with Batman, right? But issue number 2, Batman Brave and the Bold, is awesome. It has 64 pages because, like I said, it has a bunch of stories. If you want to buy that at your local LLC, I think it's like $8. So, the price of a really cheap meal, to be honest. But that's definitely a comic that I'm going to add to my singles collection, and I'll put that up and probably not read it anymore, but I'll have it for when I get or whatever. So Batman Brave and the Bold issue number 2 was great. I really did enjoy it. I really liked how the story progressed. I really liked seeing Joker be unhinged again. I really liked seeing a younger Batman try to hang with Joker, and he just can't. So that's what I've been doing this week. That's what I've been reading. That's what I've been into. Aside from that, I do have a last call question when it's time for that. And
rate it real quick. 1 to 10.
8. Solid 8.
Okay. I was wondering if you were going to give it a 10. I was wondering if it was going to get a rare perfect comic score.
I didn't want to give it a 10 because it's, like I said, it's not like new. It's just refreshing.
Okay.
It's refreshing.
Sounds interesting. I mean, anything.
It is. Like
anything with a good Joker honestly, and Batman, I love that. Like it. That's a win.
I mean, I could give it higher than that. Like I could get it like the highest I think I would give issue 2 of Batman Brave and the Bold would be like a. I'm trying really hard not to be biased because I want to say I give it a 9, but I think 8.5 is like the highest I could give it in good conscience to get people to read it because it's a shorter issue. It with stuff that we've already seen. We just haven't seen it in a while the way that we saw it in this issue. So 8.5 for sure. It's really good. It's worth the time. And I'm going to, like, I read it digitally, but I'm going to buy the comic physically, not because of the backup stories, because I honestly don't give a shit. I just really want that in my collection. I want that. So it's good.
There you go. There's your good suggestion, listeners. Go check it out. Read it for yourself if you're a Batman fan or an avid comic fan. But that's it for the news and the topics and all that stuff. And it is time that we
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
whiskey
as we go to last call to wrap up this episode. And our last call question, as he sips his jug of water that's equally as bright as him today.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is. Just matching. Oh my God. Okay. Well, what you got for us?
All right. So this question I have for us for last call is kind of a difficult question, I think, because it depends on what you're into. But the question is, what is the most rewatchable show for you?
Like, are you telling me to name a show or?
Yeah, name the show in your opinion that is the most rewatchable.
No specifications, like just anything.
It could be animated. It could be live action. It could be comedy. It could be horror. Like what
most
a show that you
show?
can.
Well, we do watch.
For you, what's
What?
What? No, you got it.
We watch 2 shows yearly. One of them for sure yearly. So for me, that's kind of an easy one. Entourage and Californication.
You broke up, but I'm assuming you said Californication?
Yep, Entourage and Californication.
Got you. Yeah, you do watch those like
me and the missus. That's like almost a tradition for us. We will watch them. Entourage will watch the entire series, all the episodes, and then the movie every year.
Okay.
And then Californication, we've missed like a year or 2 of it, but we've done that too. That's usually in there. And then we'll usually pick a show like recently we went back through Breaking Bad. We did Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. It's something we hadn't watched in years. But
fair. That's fair. That makes sense.
Game of Thrones is probably one for the missus. She's rewatched that I don't know how many times at this point. And I'm probably before long I'll probably be due like I'll start getting that hanker and then I'll probably House of Dragon and Game of Thrones again.
I'm definitely like kind of watching Game of Thrones again, like in the background while I'm doing shit, but I'm so busy all the time that I don't get to pay attention. But right now I'm on like season 2 and it's around the part where I just got to the part to where Jack and Hakkar, the guy who the faceless man or whatever, killed all those guards, so Arya and the people and Gendry and all them could like escape Tywin's little stronghold or whatever. But and then also Tyrion thought that Shay was caught by Cersei. So it was that part. But the reason why that's a difficult question for me is because there are a few shows that I watch that have multiple seasons that just like stay good to me. Like for an example, I really like Game of Thrones, but we know the latter seasons aren't as good, so I tend to fall off. And I'm trying not to be biased and just say Batman the Animated Series because that's what I want to say, right? But aside from Batman the Animated Series, Alchemist Brotherhood, that's another one that's very highly rewatchable for me, highly rewatchable. And I'm probably going to start rewatching that really soon. Maybe this weekend, to be honest. But because I think it's a fucking masterpiece. So I love it.
Give it a 10?
And it's oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. No, there's no doubt. For me, that is a 10. Absolutely.
Okay.
It doesn't like when you start it doesn't feel like it's going to be a 10. It feels like you know exactly where it's going. It's just like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of those anime, and then you get to like episode 3, and you're like, wait a second. Wait. It's like that meme that you see a bunch where it's like I don't know if you've seen it, but it's the guy who plays the Punisher, John Bernthal, and he's in a chair. He's like, wait. Like that, like watching Full Metal Alchemist. Wait. That's pretty much what it is. But I really love it. So that's probably it for me. Some other shows that are highly rewatchable for me. The beginning of Game of Thrones, man, like seasons 1 through like 4.
You know, you say Game of Thrones, and immediately my brain goes to like dun 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 dun. Like it's over here. I'm just like swaying with the beat. Like it gets stuck in your head. That's gonna be an iconic intro for God, dude. I don't know, forever.
For a lot of people, for sure. But that one, I'll say this: season 5 specifically of Supernatural. Extremely rewatchable for me. Extremely rewatchable. I love it. I love that season. I cry on the same episode at the same part every fucking time I watch it. Every time, dude. Have you seen Supernatural, by the way?
No.
Okay.
I've watched a few episodes, but I've never like really got into it because I know there's like 20 seasons or something. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. I personally stopped watching it after like season 9, I think. Like, and I
there's
was
not
like
20. There's a lot though. It's
like 15 seasons or some shit like that. It's crazy. I've technically, I still haven't watched like the last few episodes, and I'm not like itching to watch them. I'll get to it, but it's whatever. But like I said, this is hard for me to answer because there are shows that I can watch that like you get into them, and then you know what? I take it back. I've talked about the show on the pod before. And I actually just rewatched it again recently, and I believe I talked about that again on the pod. There's a show that is on Max right now. It's called Warrior. There's finally a new season coming out very soon Warrior is an extremely rewatchable show to me. I don't think it has a bad episode yet. I don't know what this new season is going to bring, but Warrior absolutely can I could start rewatching that right now and be totally satisfied. So Warrior is my answer. I love that show. I can't wait for the new season. I hope it gets another season. Like, I fucking love that show. I think it's amazing. I hope that even if this is the last season, I hope it gets like a good finale. I hope they wrap up everything. I really, really, really fuck with that show. Warrior on Max. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. Sin, I know you haven't seen it. You need to get on that shit, dude. It's great. It's great.
All right. Warrior. Listen, I need shows to watch. I feel like we're in a little bit of a dry period. You know what show I've been thinking about rewatching?
What's that?
The Boys.
I'll probably do.
I feel like I need some raunchy in my life, like just some good old raunchiness.
Understandable.
That, and I've also been thinking about rewatching Invincible because at some point in time this year we're supposed to get Invincible season 2. At some point in time, I don't know when, but it's coming sometime, supposedly. And I'm beyond ready for that because, I can't wait to dive into it.
Well, man.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, if you'd like to get your last call question featured on an episode of the podcast, join the Gilded server, gilded.gg/Sinister. Pack in the application. Just put From the Pod. It is a free app to download. And we have a whole section dedicated to the podcast where you can submit your last call question, get it featured on an episode. And then you can also submit Sinister Tales so we can talk about spooky stuff and things, which we need to be doing more of, and we've been dropping the ball on. So help us get back on track with that. They can also talk about episodes, what you've been drinking, all that good stuff and things. Lots of ways to conversate with us when we're not live or to help contribute to the podcast with your thoughts on subject matter. You can also submit your questions to us through social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Sippin With Sin, Sippin with Sin. And then, of course, episodes drop every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google, Overcast, and more. 8 a.m. every Wednesday. That's right. Except for this coming Wednesday, I feel like I got an email, and I think there's some kind of maintenance, so stuff won't be pushed out. So it may actually be going later. This episode you're listening now, if you're listening to this one, it probably come out a little later than normal. But 8 a.m. every Wednesday for the most part, unless something weird happens. You can also watch the video version over on YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister on my personal YouTube channel. And it drops out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central on that too. So don't forget to like it, thumbs up it, subscribe to the channel, comment there. Go rate the podcast 5 stars on the audio platform. Subscribe to it, whatever, follow, whatever it requires or ask. It should be free for you. Support, share it with a friend, and just enjoy it, okay? Just enjoy it, grace in your ear holes. You can find me on my personal social medias over on Twitter and Instagram at IamSinisterTV. You can find me streaming on kick.com/IamSinister. You can also find me on twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, TikTok at IamSinisterTV, and Facebook.com at IamSinisterTV. That's where you can find me if you would like to find me on my personal content creation, streaming stuff and things. And then, Christian, where can the lovely folks find you and your dreadlocks and extremely bright shirt?
You guys can find me at Venom Inc. on Instagram. You guys can also find me on TikTok at my name, Christian Vincent. You can also find me on all the socials on my own personal horror podcast, which is Horrorverse Pod on all the socials. I know that we have been on a little hiatus, but it's because we got some real life stuff going on, but we will be back. We will return. I can't tell you when, but we will be returning. Come say hi.
Come say hello. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you listening to this episode. Thanks for being here for another week. This is actually, Christian, do you know what episode this is?
Which one?
69.
I knew it. 69.
69. Thanks for listening to episode 69, Giggity. Hope you have a great one. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We're locking it down for this week. Christian, do your thing.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review. Hit that like button. Rank, rate, like, share, subscribe, all the things. We can't wait to have you here. Join our family, our little cult, if you will. But guys, I'm going to leave you with 3 words. 3 words I'll leave you with every week. If you know them, say them with me. If you don't know them, listen carefully because they just might save your life. Those words are, don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.